Hello students, I myself Dr. Bhagawan and I first of all congratulate to all of you for choosing botany as a principal subject for your graduation. Friends, in your TY BSc semester 3rd, I have to deal with a very interesting sixth paper from your syllabus, that is computational botany. Friends, we are very well acquainted with the functions of a computer. But computer knowledge is used in the botany to come to conclusion very fast. Along with that one, another subject is there that is also going to help to the our botany in the sense biology I will say that, which is used to solve the biological problems, isn't it? So that is biostatistics. Biostatistics is nothing but the application of a statistical knowledge to solve the biological problems. Students, we know that most of time we are collecting many observations. The number of observations are there in our hand, but from that huge number of observations, we have to write a conclusion of a single line or single figure. In such a cases, the all observations are to be treated with such a type of a formulas. Which are those formulas? Which formula we have to use for which type of observations? All that knowledge we have to get through this computational botany subject. Paper, I mean to say that. This computational botany paper includes actually the 10 topics I will say that, or units I will say that. That one first is Introduction to Biostatistics. The first topic or unit carries 3 lectures. Under this topic, we have to learn about definition of biostatistics. Already I have given you idea about that definition. Once again, I'm going to tell to you about that definition. Biostatistics is nothing but the use of biological sorry use of statistical techniques to solve the biological problems. That is nothing but the biostatistics. Students, some terminologies are there which may be new to you or which you might have not studied in your previous courses, previous classes. So that's why first of all you have to get idea about the all terminology which may be new to you, which may be having a lot of importance while learning computational botany syllabus. So here, that statistical terms that you have to learn, that is population, sample, primary and secondary data, qualitative and quantitative data, parameters and statistic attributes, variable, discrete and continuous variables, statistical error, linear and non-linear functions of statistics, frequency and its distribution, scope and applications and uses of biostatistics. Friends, always you have to keep in your mind why to learn, or what is the importance of this computational botany actually. So scope of biostatistics, its applications and uses, how this biostatistics sixth paper computational botany is going to help you while learning, or when you will go for the research, or at the time of reading of a research paper. This will help you to understand the experiment, understand the observations, understand the conclusions taken out of that experiment by the scientist. So we are going to take one of the example. Students, we know that we are having a mango, I have to say that, farmyard. In that mango farmyard, thousands of plants planted by you, and you want to take out the average production of a mango of each plant, isn't it? In such a cases, we cannot go individually plant to plant and measure the fruits produced by that plant. So we have to take a sample. So statistical term is their sample. Now, out of that 1,000 plants, only we have to measure the number of fruit production of only 20 to 25 plants, and with the help of that we have to come to conclusion. So this is the average production of a this mango farmyard, and accordingly you will be able to sell that to the, we have to say that, the fellow who is a businessman. Friends, sample, but primary means first time collected data is there, and whenever another fellow works with that primary data and prepares the data on data, that data is nothing but the secondary data. So again, qualitative and quantitative, that is again most important. So such a type of a terminologies are there. So there is a scope, lot of scope is there. Suppose one of the scientists want to develop a high yielding grain producing variety. At that time also he have to conduct the several experiments, collect the observations, and according to that observations, that experimentation, he has to come to conclude that this variety having such a type of a selling features, or such a type of a high yield as compared to others. So such a type of things are there. So there are a lot of, I have to say that, use of biostatistics there in the life of scientist, or when we have to deal with the biological data, botanical data. So this first unit, introduction to biostatistics, from that one we have to learn only the terminologies are very much useful to understand computational botany syllabus. Here, sample and sampling, isn't it? We know that there is a large number of individuals are there. We cannot visit, we cannot approach, we cannot measure each and every individual of that large or huge population. In such a cases, we have to select some samples. For example, we know that whenever any farmer wants to sell his full gunny bag of a jowar grains, when he took that gunny bag to the market, the purchasers or the grocer never checks each and every, we have to say that, the grain from that gunny bag, but only samples takes from various strata of that gunny bag, and then that fellow decides the cost of that grains. So that few grains, with the help of that few grains, the grocer decides the cost of a that grains filled gunny bag. So few grains, that is nothing but the sample selected, collected from the population. So that again, there are the types of sampling, isn't it? Random sampling, non-random sampling. So which type of sampling method is applicable, which type of a, or what type of a population, that also we have to learn under this method. Then what is need of all these sampling? Rather another methods are there of a sampling or not. Each and every we have to learn under the second unit from computational botany, sixth paper. And this second sample and sampling unit carries 4 lectures. Friends, now another third unit from that sixth paper computational botany is collection and representation of data. 5 lectures are there to this one. Now what is data? Collected observations are nothing but the data. Classification of data. What is meaning and need of classification? Why to classify the data? Isn't it? For example, I will tell to you. Suppose one of the plant is there and work has been allotted to you. Collect the data of one of the plant. Isn't it? So suppose there are the 10 plants are there. So you will go and measure the height of that one. Somebody will measure the leaf area of that plant. Some have to measure the length of internode. Isn't it? Like that one, data is to be collected, and that data we have to classify according to the, we have to say that, requirement of the paper, requirement of the conclusion. So again, huge data we have to divide into a specific range. So that is nothing but the classification according to class interval, isn't it? Suppose we are having 1,000 plants, we have measured the height of 1,000 plants, and in that one we are not able to write the height of 1,000 plants in observation table. So at that time, what we have to do? Suppose some range is there. Some plants are having a height in between 25 to 30 centimeter. So how many plants comes under that 25 into 30 centimeter? Suppose 3 are there. So like that one we have to interpret the data in the observation table and make it easy to conclude. These things are going to help us, isn't it? Make it easy to conclude, because thousands of reading if you will keep about a common man and then you will start the explanation, so that could be the tedious method, and that common man or the fellow will not be able to understand what you want to tell and what are the exact importance of such a type of a conclusions. So just to conclude, we have to write the data in such a way or conclude the data, means divide the data to come to the very simple, understandable, easy conclusions. So this collection and representation of data having a lot of importance. So here many methods are there. We have to prepare observation table of the data, then that is nothing but the tabular presentation. What are the advantages of that one? Then graphic representation of data and its advantages, isn't it? There are the types of graphs we have to learn under this unit, that is a histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, scatter or dot diagram. What are the merits of all these things and limitations of the graphic representations? Then diagrammatic representation data, line data. So, sorry, line diagram. So these things we have to learn under this one. So we know that actually whenever there is a graph, we are going to say that as increases the temperature, there is a increase in the, I have to say that, germination percentage, or as increase in the period, there is increase in the height of plant. So that type of, suppose simple graph if we draw, so with the help of that simple graph, the common man or the, I have to say that the fellow from that same subject can understand the things very easily and in a short of time. So that is most important. So for that one, graphic representation is also, we have to say that, a very interesting method, or we have to say that the superior method as compared to that of a tabular presentation or tabular form of a data. Friends, now fourth unit from this one is the measures of central tendency of grouped and ungrouped data. This fourth unit also carries 4 lectures. In this one, we have to learn about mean, that is simple arithmetic mean, its merits and limitations, and to most important, average of position, that is median and mode, their merits and limitations. How to calculate the mean, isn't it? Why to calculate the mean, arithmetic mean? What are the merits of calculation of mean, and what are the again limitations? Another, that is in case of median and mode, same things, that is in case of its merits and limitations we have to learn. So these things we have to learn under the fourth unit, that is measure of a central tendency of grouped and ungrouped data. Friends, I know that you know only how to calculate the mean, median or mode, but we have to learn in detail about these measures of central tendency of grouped and ungrouped data, means for grouped and for ungrouped data also under this unit. Now friends, fifth fifth unit is there, that is a measures of dispersion. What is meaning of that one? Isn't it meaning of dispersion process? Then range, computation in individual, discrete and continuous series, coefficient of range, merits and limitations in the fifth unit itself. So friends, under this also we have to get idea about the mean deviation and standard deviation, computation for grouped and ungrouped data. So what is meaning of grouped data? What is meaning of ungrouped data? That also we will be able to learn under this fifth unit. Another, that is variance, definition of variance, coefficient of variance, where this terminal is to be used, how to calculate, how to come to the conclusion when we are having in our hand there is a huge number of observations or huge of a data. So these things are going to help us to solve the biological problems. Again, remaining 5 units are there that we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you very much.